I'm sitting in front of my caravan travel trailer. It is a 15-foot 6-inch travel trailer. The aggregate trailer mass of the travel trailer is 2,600 kilograms. Presently, I have it loaded to 2,100 kilograms, which is 4,629 pounds. My driveway has a very sharp 90-degree bend and a 6-degree slope. In the past, I used my truck to reverse my travel trailer into the parking position. I have just bought this NOVAWINCH 12-volt 550-watt motorized jockey-wheel mini mover. It is the generation 2 version, and the manufacturer rates it to be able to move a maximum of 2,722 kilograms, which is 6,000 pounds. And the maximum load on the jockey wheel is 498 kilograms, which is 1,100 pounds. I intend to mount this mini mover into this position here on the drawbar, and I'll supply battery power to the mini mover from the 12-volt lithium iron phosphate battery system in my travel trailer. Join me in this video as I unbox this, then install the mini mover to the drawbar and demonstrate the mini mover pulling my caravan travel trailer up my 6-degree slope driveway. This is about the maximum slope of my driveway. It is about 6 degrees. The generation 2 mini mover is rated to a maximum of 7 degrees, so I hope it works on my caravan. So I will be moving the travel trailer up along this driveway. Let's unbox this mini mover. On the box, it sets out the specifications for this motorized trailer mover. Maximum tow load of 2,722 kilograms or 6,000 pounds. Maximum load on a jockey wheel 498 kilograms or 1,100 pounds. It has a 12-volt 550-watt motor. The speed is 7 meters per minute. It has an integrated A380 reinforced aluminum frame, weatherproof design. There's rust-resistant baking paint. There's overcurrent protection. There's a clutch function for non-powered move, but it is not suitable for dual axle trailers. The reason is dual axle trailers, there is a lot more resistance to turning, unlike a single axle trailer. We have the owner's manual. We have the control arm. The user manual with the specifications for the jockey wheel mover. That's funny, it says explosive drawing. It should say exploded drawing. Should say exploded drawing rather than explosive drawing. And there's a sheet on the warranty and contact details. The machine itself is here. The clamping bracket. Here is the clamp. A packet containing the power cable, cable ties, 4 cable ties, and the power cable, which looks like it has Anderson power pole connector to connect to the motor and ring terminals to connect to a battery. I will change these into Anderson SB50 connectors. A packet of bolts, screws, nuts, washers, a lock with 4 keys. This lock I believe fits in this security pin. There's a plastic cover. Pull it open, and inside we have a pinhole, and that's the keyhole. If I put the key in there and turn, it moves a steel ball bearing inside into a lock or unlock position. Turn the key clockwise to unlock position that retracts the steel ball. Slip it into this locking pin, and it is nearly flush. Turn the key anti-clockwise and it's locked. That's how it works. Now the main component, the jockey wheel mover motor itself. On this side, label says NOVAWINCH Mini Mover 6000, 12 volt DC, moves maximum 6,000 pounds or 2,722 kilograms. Maximum jockey wheel load 1,100 pounds or 498 kilograms. This yellow drum here is to engage or disengage the clutch. It says engaged, free spool. So if I turn clockwise, this wheel is free spinning. If I turn anti-clockwise, the wheel is no longer free spinning but requires the motor to move it, and that's good. This allows the control arm to be slotted in and secured. Here is the wheel. It is a solid rubber wheel, does not need inflation, so that's good. Open this rubber cover and there's a 3-pin socket to allow the plug from the control arm to connect to it. Turn it to this side and there's a number here which I believe is a serial number. I've just blanked out. The on-off switch. Remove the rubber cover and there is a 12 volt DC power connection. It looks to me similar to Anderson power pole connectors. On this side there's a warning label. It says disconnect mini mover, leads from battery when not in use. Remove mini mover from vehicle when not in use. For manual operation, turn clutch to disengaged, which means turn it to the free spool. If mini mover loses traction, discontinue use. Do not overload. Keep people away from your towing path, forward and backward. Do not use on incline greater than 7 degrees. On the top, there's a batch number 2132. The importer in Australia is K-Mate. The product is made in China. So the shaft has a turning handle, allows it to extend and retract the shaft height. The external shaft body is freely movable. This is the clamp with the locking pin. I will not need it for my caravan, but I'll demonstrate how to remove the pin and fix it to the jockey wheel shaft. I have a pair of vice grips. On the steel pin there are 2 flat surfaces. Clamp the pin and turn anti-clockwise. When it's loose enough, I can just use my hand, and the screw thread is withdrawing from this welded nut at the rear. There we are. And then I find the rib that I want to clamp this slot into. Let's say this is the rib. Put the screw thread back in. And this is where the 2 holes allow me to drill a hole and bolt through to my drawbar. But I will not be using this because on my drawbar I have an existing clamp that is welded to the side, and I will use that one instead. To use the lock on this locking pin, remove the rubber cap, turn the key clockwise and it will retract steel ball bearing inside, allowing me to insert the lock nearly flush. Turn the key anti-clockwise and there is now in lock position. I will remove this as well as the clamp because I do not need it. Now to assemble the control arm. There is a joining tube with holes in it. Now this cable is a bit long. I grab the plug end and pull the cable so that it shortens this end. There we are. Grab the packet of nuts, bolts, washers. There's a smaller packet inside. Grab the 2 longer screws. Grab some washers. Grab 2 nylock nuts. Grab the 2 nut caps. As for the others, I actually don't know what they're for. Put them to one side. Actually, I will use 4 washers. 1 washer on each side of the nut bolt assembly. Be careful not to damage the control cable. Align the hole on the bottom pole. Put a washer through the bolt. Put it through the hole. Put another washer through. Put a nylock nut through to tighten this bolt and nut. I have a 4mm Allen key. Put it to the cap screw head. I have an 8mm socket. Put it to this nut and tighten. Because the screw protrudes, it's not safe. I think that's why they provided these nut caps. So I put the nut cap in. tighten. That's good. Do not over tighten. Now for the other screw, turn the top handle so that the hole is exposed. Put the screw through the back. Put another washer through. Put the nylon nut in. Use my socket wrench and the Allen key. That's good. Now put the nut cap at the end. So that's done. From the packet of bolts and screws, grab one of these pins, insert the control arm here. Take this locking pin, screw it in the hole. The locking pin is engaged, and if I push this shaft in, it can then turn to one side or the other side. Next, remove the cover from the control socket. Remove the cover from the control plug. Align the 3 pinholes to the 3 pins. Push in and it will be secure. To remove the plug again, press on this lever which releases it. So now this is assembled. A modification I will need to do is this. I will cut the battery ring terminals off and instead replace it with an Anderson SB50 power connector with this silver contacts. The reason is that on my caravan travel trailer, I already have a power cable connected directly to the battery, which uses Anderson SB50 connector. Get my wire stripper. This is a genuine Anderson SB50 silver contact for AWG10, AWG12 wire. Get my Sparrow SCT390 crimper. Put the silver contact into the crimper die, push the wire in fully and then crimp. Give it a pull that's secure. I've crimped the outside, I'll crimp the inside now. Right, that's crimped. Pull it. It's not going to come out. Now for the positive cable. Make sure that the profile of the 2 silver contacts are in the right facing. So like this rather than like that. Put it in a crimper and crimp. Do a pull test. It's secure. Now crimp the inside. That's good. This is the SB50 housing. The red positive goes into that side and the black negative goes to this side. In the SB50 there are steel prongs. This lip on this contact needs to catch the edge of that prong in order to be secure. I'll insert the positive cable first into the positive side and push in. You'll see it come through and I push further. I'm going to use a flathead screwdriver just to guide that contact in. There we are. The lip has clicked into the steel prong. It made a click sound and I can't pull it out. To remove it, I have to push the steel prong down and pull the cable. But that is secure. Next for the negative cable, same thing, the lip will go in this way. Push it in. See it get in there, push it further and it clicked, it's caught on. That's good, the lip has caught on to the steel prong. They are both secure. So I can now plug the power cable to the mini mover. At the other end, I have my Anderson SB50 power connector. This way, with this connector, I can easily and safely connect and disconnect to a power cable on my caravan travel trailer. Here's my simple setup with a 12 volt lead acid battery connected to the mini mover to test it. The clutch is engaged. Does that work? Reverse. Excellent. I've mounted the shaft of the mini mover to the front clamp on my drawbar. I had to elevate this shaft to the point where this handle clears this toe coupling. However, the handbrake lever is still in the way. The handbrake is applied. The travel trailer has wooden blocks on both wheels. It is a single axle travel trailer. As a safety measure, I also installed the original factory supplied jockey wheel. I plan to always have this installed as a safety precaution in case this one breaks loose. What I'll do now is extend this jockey wheel to raise the drawbar up, and with the back wheels chopped, I will lower this brake lever, and I hope that will allow me to turn this handle in order to extend the shaft. The power cable on the mini mover, the Anderson SB50 plug end is here. I've connected that to another Anderson SB50 connector, which is directly connected to the lithium iron phosphate battery in the travel trailer. I've also wrapped this so that the long cable doesn't get caught during the movement. Right, that's no good, that's still in the way. So it means I need to loosen this clamp and raise this shaft higher and see if that does the job. I have had to raise the shaft much higher so that even now with the lever pull, I can actually clear the lever. The reason for it is this: on the shaft there's one rib, second rib, third rib, and then the fourth rib is much closer than the other ribs. So I cannot clamp on this or this because then it will not be tight and flush against this single slot. I will use a marker to highlight that this is the rib for future reference. Close-up view of what it looks like, and a close-up view of the two SB50 Anderson connectors joined. Raise this original jockey wheel up so that this motorized jockey wheel takes the weight. Make sure the clamp on the motorized jockey wheel is secure. Make sure I turn this clutch lock anti-clockwise so that the mover will not just roll away but it's locked. Finally, release the brakes. Now, operate the mini mover control. It's not moving. I think this is too high. I will now lower this so that there's more weight to the front. I'll put the chocks back on the wheels. I've raised the wheel significantly that much. Now I'll lower the original jockey wheel. The jockey wheel is lower now, so the drawbar is lower. Hopefully more weight is on the jockey wheel. Handbrake is off. Chocks are off. We'll try again. That's not good because this is twisting. This time I've lifted the shaft on this factory jockey wheel more so that I can crank the wheel up higher, which will allow me to lower this motorized jockey wheel more. My next attempt. Alright, another attempt. Still no good. My next attempt. This time I've raised this jockey wheel shaft to the highest setting so that enables me to raise this jockey wheel shaft to the highest setting here. This is the last setting, so I get as much weight down in front to stop the wheels slipping. Give it another try. Still not good. That's not satisfactory. I still can't get the caravan to move, even though I've lowered the drawbar to as low as I can. You see there's black rubber marks where it's just scraping off. See the black rubber? This is the left hand side wheel. That mover has a problem with pulling this wheel out of this depression in the pavers. This is the right hand side wheel, and there's a greater depression here, and the wheel needs to get out of this depression, but it's a small depression, and even this, it's not able to pull it out. Not good for me. What I've done is remove the pavers, put in paving sand and level the pavers so that the wheels are not in a depression. I've towed my caravan down with my truck, and now I'll use the mini mover to move it back and see if it works. Alright, let's try the mini mover reversing up the slope to the pavers. I'm gonna have to remove the jockey wheel because it's in the way. So now that I've leveled the pavers, I can move the van backwards and forward where it was parked. But I think another important change I made was, instead of mounting the mini mover to this clamp on the side, this clamp is not as wide as the clamp in the center. So when it was clamped to this, the jockey wheel would flex. Now that it's clamped to this, where the clamp is thicker, it doesn't flex anymore. So I think it needs to be in this center position. There previously was a dip where the wheel sits over the pavers. I removed the pavers, put in more paving sand, pounded it a little and relaid the pavers so that the ditch is now gone. That makes a big difference. Plus having the mini mover mounted on that center jockey wheel clamp. So that's good. Well, I'm so pleased that this attempt worked well. Lesson is, when I fail once, twice, not to give up, try a different approach. So overall, I am pleased with this mini mover. I have no doubt it will move my caravan up and down this concrete driveway. This is a generation 2 which uses a standard jockey wheel shaft and clamp. They make a generation 3 which uses a square shaft and hence a square clamp, which is unique. And the manufacturer made that generation 3 design in order to overcome the weakness of the traditional round tube design where it can slip and flex. But if I had opted for the generation 3 clamp, then I would have had to weld that clamp onto the drawbar, and I didn't want to put in yet another clamp. So this approach works for me. And the other thing to note is, because this jockey wheel is mounted in the center here rather than on the side, I have had to use the control arm so that it is tilted to the right hand side or left hand side to maneuver it so that it doesn't hit the drawbar. I hope you found this video useful and interesting. Do hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more and help the channel grow. Thank you so much.